Like a lot of you, I learned how to be funny as a way to get attention or escape from danger as a kid. In addition to dealing with bullies at school, making my mom and dad laugh was a great joy in my life. And one thing that always made my dad laugh was the routine I want to talk about today, Abbott and Costello's Who's On First. I used to listen to this routine over and over, trying to learn everything I could. But Abbott and Lou Costello formed a comedy duo in the mid-1930s and went on to be the highest paid entertainers in the world by the 1940s. Their partnership would last until the 1950s, when it would run aground due to health issues, personal disagreements, and being basically bankrupted by the IRS for never having paid their taxes. That's right, rich people used to pay their taxes. Eventually. Who's On First was the duo's most famous routine, and it came in lots of different versions, performed live, for radio, and for TV. Even now, you can find a number of versions of the routine here on YouTube, some with crowd laughter and some without. Probably the best looking version is this one from their film Naughty 90s, but without the crowd interaction, it really loses something.
Have you got a first baseman on first? Certainly. Then who's playing first? Absolutely.
There is another version, which looks like this, and it has a crowd, but you get the sense that they're coached when to laugh, not a live audience per se.
Is there anything special that you would like to hear us do?
Baseball.
No, wait a minute, friends. You don't want to hear that, do you?
The best version, in my opinion, is audio only with a live crowd. It also has some extremely seductive ads for cigarettes.
Robert, you've changed your cigarette brand. This is a I can tell without even looking.
Yes, I have changed my brand. You know how we smoked whatever cigarettes we could get during the war?
Don't I?
Ignore those. Take it from a former smoker. Smoking sucks.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing
Who
first.
is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
There are also videos all over the place of people performing the routine themselves or incorporating it into The Simpsons.
Who's on first?
Yes, not the pronoun, but rather a player with the unlikely name of who is on first.
Yes, well, that's just great, Seymour. We've been out here 6 seconds. You've already managed to blow the routine.
Or Family Guy.
I'm asking you who's on first. Who? That's what I'm asking you.
Nothing will ever be funnier than misunderstandings.
I think that's the greatest thing to take away from this sketch, which is to play the audience as much as your material. Let the tension build and release it. Watch how they build tension with the dialogue and then let it all release and then start the cycle over again.
You the manager?
Yes.
You know the guy's name?
I'm telling you their names.
Well, who's on first?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for? I'm asking you.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
You ain't telling me nothing. I'm asking you who's on first.
That's it.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first base.
That's his name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for?
Something you'll notice if you watch amateurs perform this routine is they are saying the words in the right order but don't have the timing. Abbott and Costello make the timing look easy, but it takes a level of trust and familiarity that only comes with performing something every night for decades. Because amateurs don't have the rhythm down, the tension doesn't build quite the same, so there's nothing to release. Even though these guys got together almost 90 years ago, we can still learn from them when we're performing and editing, especially filmed content. When you're editing dialogue and trying to build tension, you can edit the pieces very close together.
You know, from a woman's perspective, sometimes not singing in an a cappella group is a good thing.
This is serious.
On the other hand, I do like guys who wrote crew.
Now, I have no real evidence of this, but it seems like one person who certainly took these lessons to heart is Aaron Sorkin. He's famous for this. In fact, he's so famous for it that if you write and cut this way, someone's likely to dismiss it as Sorkin-esque.
The ping pong dialogue?
The ping pong dialogue.
The ping pong dialogue?
The ping pong dialogue.
But if it's the right device for the moment, it's still right for the moment. Just don't overdo. And before you say, wait a minute, I'm just one person, I don't have a partner to help do two-person comedy, let me remind you of a man you already know named ProZD or Seung-Won Cho.
You can have 5 members in your party.
Well, I'm a Ronin.
Sure.
And my brother Chadicus is also a Ronin. So
I don't play the right video games to get all his stuff, but I've always found him hilarious. And sketches like that are how his channel started. And here's how it's going.
I shouldn't say.
They're paying me $10 million.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying that we'll all have that kind of success. I'm just making the point that our comedy is whatever we say it is, and people will follow along if there's a laugh in it for them. You can do comedy like this with just one person if that's what speaks to you. Interestingly, the written material of Who's on First is most likely now in the public domain because Abbott and Costello, or their estates, failed to renew the copyright. There was a case on this subject that went to the Supreme Court here in the States, but SCOTUS declined to hear it, which means the lower court's ruling stands. And that ruling said that Abbott and Costello's heirs did not have standing to sue. Now, that's not exactly the same as the material being squarely in the public domain, but if the heirs don't have standing to sue, then it's not clear to me who would. Now, it's also could be that it's not clear because I'm not a lawyer. So, if you want to perform this material as written and make money on it, you either can do that, or you'll get a cease and desist from someone who does have standing, and then you'll give them all your money. Or spend years in court defending yourself, ultimately spending way more than you ever made, probably.
Just this.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and maybe jump on the Patreon if you want to help me make more. And if you want to talk about comedy writing with people who are trying to do it in a constructive way, we also have a Discord channel.